Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We are painting chickens today. As you can see, I've already sketched them out with a pencil. This is inspired by Gia artwork, which I'll include in the description as I always do. I saw this picture of painted chickens and I was like, oh my gosh, how have I not painted chickens on this channel yet? I have chickens of my own, and I think it's a good way to change up all of the landscapes that I've been painting with some, concrete subjects here. So I feel like it's Easter time when this will be released. Why not paint some chickens? So there are lots of different varieties of chickens. We have two different types of chickens. We have 5 chickens, but one Rhode Island, and then the other 4 are a different variety. Anyway, I'll talk about that later. Let's just get into this. So first thing you want to do is just sketch out a silhouette of 2 chickens or more. You can have multiple chickens in different, like a running position, a standing position, a pecking position. Totally up to you. I just chose 2 to give you like 2 things to choose from, but you can go crazy with this. Yes, what was I gonna say? Once you've sketched this out, that's when, like you saw me erasing this because I don't want this to show through the watercolor, so just have it light enough so that you can see your outline, but not too dark that it shows through the watercolor. So I'm gonna make this one like, kind of a redishy orange brownish chicken, and then this one will be a little bit darker. So we have one chicken that we call Henrietta, and the color that I intend to paint this one is her color, but we'll see if it actually ends up looking like that. So she's got like this hint of yellow on her. It's like a reddish color actually on her neck, but I'm gonna add these yellow highlights for fun. And so I'm applying them in like a fan orientation with little streaks, like so. And then I'm also going to have a little bit of red towards the tail area. I have this song stuck in my head. My baby has this toy. It's like a little piano, and you can put it on just like, she can either press the keys and they do something, but she's, at the time of recording this video, she's only almost 4 months old, so she doesn't understand that she needs to hit the keys in order for them to make sounds. So I just put it on this automatic mode where it just plays songs all day. Well, not all day, but when she's sitting in front of it, and I have these ridiculous songs stuck in my head now. The animals play, the animals play, the animals play all day. That was probably very cringy for you guys to hear. So yeah, I'm fading that red tail into like a brown, maybe some orange to change things up a little bit. I feel like I have so many things to share, but I don't want to spill them all in this one video because I have 4 tutorials to film today. So what should I talk about? Well, first thing I'll say is that it is the absolute end of December. Tomorrow is New Year's Eve. And as a kid, I really liked New Year's Eve because we always had things planned. Like we were either going to somebody's house, and even though I was a kid and it was an adult function, it was still exciting because all the adults were excited and, toasting, and felt like a new beginning and fun. And now we are kind of loners. so we don't really go anywhere. We usually just kind of celebrate together. But now that we have a baby, I think we're just going to kind of call it a night. What I remember one year, I think we watched Anne of Green Gables for New Year's Eve, and then we went to sleep. Like, we're like, oh, it's in 5 minutes, it's 12 o'clock, like 12 a.m. And then we just kept watching Anne of Green Gables. Not very high on the priority list are our celebrations, as you can tell by my descriptions here. So I'm adding a little bit of brown watercolor towards the bottom portion here because that's what my reference has. And I'm assuming that it's like shadows from the wing or from the feathers of the wing. It would probably help if this was a little bit more dry. But we are aiming for quick tutorials this time, just like quick, fun little things that you can do, or little paintings that you can paint. It probably sounds silly or like strange hearing me talk about New Year's Eve when you see this in March, but the only way for you guys to continuously receive new tutorials every week from me is if I pre-film. It just works better because then I have loads of time to get them up. Like, I can get them up in my free time instead of doing it live. Like, I admire the people that can film live, like painting tutorials or just lifestyle, like the people that upload the same, like you film something and then they edit it and it's uploaded the next day. So you're like watching their content kind of in real time almost. I mean, it's much more engaging for the viewer because you see what the person is doing in real life. Like, it feels more relatable because you're like, oh, yesterday when I was cooking dinner, this is what this person was doing on the other side of the world. At least that's how I feel when I watch certain people that I know upload kind of, I'll call it live. That's what I've been calling it. But yeah, I am not a fan of that because when I did that once and it wasn't intentional. It's just I didn't paint for a very long time and eventually I ran out of pre-uploaded tutorials. So I was like, oh my gosh, I have nothing to upload next week. And so I had to quickly film something, and then I was uploading it and it kind of corrupted while it was uploading overnight, so I couldn't release it in the morning like I usually would at my scheduled time. And yeah, that's when I realized that this is not the way to, like, for me at least, not the way to go, not the way to go about my channel. This is a spunky chicken. I like it. I'm tempted to add like little details when this dries maybe. I'll wait for this guy to dry so I can add some extra things in there to spruce it up. In the meantime, we will, because we still have to do the like comb of a chicken, which is red, I believe, in most chickens. So we'll move on to this one and just do this while this one's drying. I can tell that this person did not use watercolor when they painted their chickens because it's way too textured to be watercolor. And it's probably a much more suitable painting medium to paint the chickens, but this is a watercolor channel, so we make do, we adapt. I'm mixing red and brown together to create the shade for this chicken. And this is what our chicken called Cutie Pie looks like. She has these auburn, is it auburn feathers? Like reddish brown, very nice. She was my favorite chicken for a while, but then she got a little cocky. I think she knew she was the favorite and she began bullying the others. Like, if you don't watch out, you're gonna be soup. Not us though, because yeah, I'm not gonna get into our diet, but this is what the chicken looks like. Okay, I was kind of not very happy with these paintbrushes in a previous video, or even a few previous videos, but I think I have changed my mind about these brushes. I think I just did not know what I was doing, and I didn't know how to use them, but now I do, or I've at least gotten the hang of them a little bit more. So I am painting this chicken in patches, as you can tell. Like, parts of it have shading and other parts don't. It's kind of hard for me to verbally explain what I'm doing. So I hope that it's like easy to follow just by watching what I'm doing and then replicating it, because yeah, it's kind of hard to say, oh, paint this in a triangular shape or whatever. So I hope that's okay, guys. Don't get upset at me. And then in terms of the colors, I know I'm gonna get asked about this because I get asked about this a lot. I do not know the names of my colors, okay? Partly because I threw the name card out, at least on my old palette. So I really could not tell you what the actual names are. And on my new palette, I just don't think it's that important. I don't care to know the colors, and I don't think it matters as much as a lot of people think that it does. You just use the colors that you have available and you will create an equally beautiful painting. And I know some people just have a hard time believing that that is possible, and they really want the exact color names, but you are not going to receive them from me because I don't have them. And because the reason I don't have them is because I genuinely don't think you need to use the exact colors I'm using in order to achieve a beautiful painting. Okay? Like, I don't know what the color names are that the reference photo I'm using, like what my chickens don't even, the colors don't match very much at all, because I'm just using what I have. I'm kind of guessing, I'm experimenting, I'm trying out different things on my own as well. And that's the beauty of it. That is the beauty of being an artist and experimenting and trying things out. That's how you learn best. Of course, this is purely my opinion. Many people disagree with that. I really like these paintbrushes. Sorry, I have to exclaim that because I was not very enthusiastic about them in a few previous tutorials. So I apologize to Grabby for that. I think it was just user error, and I am willing to admit that, because I quite am enjoying them right now. Whoops, I forgot this part of my chicken. I'll make it like a reddish brown perhaps, kind of darken that area of the neck. We'll see what this turns out looking like. So I just took some black and added it to this random color concoction that I had to do kind of the neck feather part. And I'm trying to figure out how far to go here because this is all going, like not all of it, but a lot of it's going to be that reddish color for the comb and such. I can paint over it, which is why I'm just kind of covering it up because I don't want there to be any white spots. I'm just going to take yellow for the beak. Although this guy kind of had an open beak, which I messed up. Maybe you could be in a coconut tree. Yuki. I'm gonna go back to this. Remember when I said I wanted to add some extra details and whatever when that dried? So that's what I want to do. And I'm using my Grabby palette for this painting. And I've mentioned this in so many other videos, but I love this palette. It is so opaque that it almost feels like I've never painted with gouache, but this is what I imagine it would feel like painting with gouache. Like it's so opaque, so thick, and I don't want to say creamy, but that's kind of what it feels like. And it works for me. I like using it. I'm gonna take like a cream color here for the legs. Funny legs. Funny chicken legs. I am gonna go over this again and darken it with a little bit of brown, but I did want to get in kind of the main chunk of the legs. Maybe you could be something in a coconut tree. I don't know. And you could sing back to me. So yeah, the way a chicken leg appears, it's like one line and then it has these little lines coming off of it. Something like that. I'm gonna take a little bit of brown, like I said, and just darken mine a tiny bit. Make it look a little bit more realistic. That might be a little dark, but that's okay. The rest of the chicken makes up for it, I think. I don't like how flat these feathers look up here. So I'm going to just take like this yellowish beige that I have and just add some sort of texture. I'm going to take red, I'm going to mix it with brown or whatever and just add some more texture up there. something like that. Okay, so now that we have that down, we have to paint the comb and I don't know what the other red things are called around a chicken's head area, but that's what we're going to be painting next. So I'm taking some potent red. Just take whatever red you have and make sure you have more pigment than water. That's what I mean by potent. And we're going to paint the little, something tells me that it's called a gully or a gull, or that sounds appropriate, but it's probably not what it's called. I should know. I have a chicken family, but I don't know what this is called. So you're basically painting like this little round drop underneath the beak area, and it kind of extends. It doesn't extend, but this, I should have painted the rest of the face pink for this to make sense. And then part of the comb actually goes onto the start of the beak, and you can exaggerate this if you want to like enunciate your beak. That is probably not the right word, but that is not my forte. And then, yeah, you're basically painting a little comb on top of your chicken's head. Henrietta, our chicken, she has a tiny, tiny comb. It's funny, but she's like the chicken that just doesn't care about all the other chickens. Like, she's just in her own world. She does her own thing. No one can bother her. And I think she lives a much more peaceful life than all the other chickens because of that. I think a lot of people would live much more peaceful lives if they adapted, you know, just kind of looking after, like, don't pry into other people's business, do your own thing, be happy, life will work out for you. So for this one, this chicken is in a slightly different position, so that gully, or that whatever that red thing that hangs down is called, it's kind of more flush with the chicken rather than sticking out like it did this one. And the same with the comb. Sort of consumes the beak. And this kind of wraps around. Whoops, that was not intentional. I'm gonna dry my brush off and just kind of mix that out. That'll do. So the other thing we have to do is just add little eyes, well, little black dots for eyes, but we do have to wait for those to dry. And I mean, I could continue to add texture if I wanted to, like, to these chickens to make them appear less flat, but I think we've done a pretty good job with the color combo of these chickens. So I am just going to let the comb and the hanging red parts dry, and then all I'm gonna do, like, there's no point of even waiting for me to do this, like, because you can do it yourself without seeing what I'm doing, but you can just take black watercolor and drop a dot for an eye here and right there, and then you have your chickens. So I hope you guys enjoyed this unique tutorial. I really like these guys. I'm kind of tempted to hang it on my wall. But thanks so much for watching. Please subscribe if you enjoyed it. Hit like on this video. Leave a comment because I love reading your comments, and I will see you in the next tutorial.